What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Aatrox, and we're back for another Mortal Kombat video. If you've been following the channel, you know earlier this week I put up a poll for you guys to decide which MK video would come next. And if you're not following, just hit that sub button and like the video. But anyways, there was a deadlock between Li Mei and Subzero for the next video. So I flipped a coin to decide which one I would make, and Subzero ended up coming on top.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So, yeah, it sounded crazy. Hold up, pause. Anyways, yeah, so I kind of wanted Subzero to be first anyways, so like it worked out for me. But anyways, before we dive deep into the ramifications of Bi-Han dying and becoming Noob Saibot, I kind of want to talk about just who Bi-Han is. This is more like just like a rough recap of him. Nothing like too crazy. But anyways, in the original timeline, Bi-Han is one of the few characters that actually got their own spin-off game. Well, other than Jack's Special Forces and Shaolin Monks was Liu Kang and Kung Lao. What this game did was give us an in-depth look at Bi-Han. He was fiercely loyal and devout to the Lin Kuei. Pretty much the Lin Kuei's best assassin and the most loyal to the Lin Kuei. Often thought to be cold and ruthless, but honestly this was just mostly due to his upbringing and them training him to be an assassin. The main thing the story focused on was to establish who Bi-Han was. Personally, I don't think he was evil, but you know there are people that say that, so if that's what you say, I don't think so, but you know you're welcome to your opinion. But anyways, so the first thing it was established was that he wasn't evil, and the second thing was that he was willing to undo his mistakes after pretty much after handing Shinnok's amulet to Quan Chi, and pretty much would have been disastrous for the realms. So when that happened, Raiden appears and sends him through the portal to go to another realm to pretty much stop Quan Chi and Shinnok. Now, if he was evil, he could have just abandoned the quest and pretty much just joined them. After all, Raiden had no dominion over the Nether Realm, so why refuse Quan Chi? Bi-Han was an anti-hero in my opinion. That could be the only reason why that happened, because if he was truly evil, he would have just joined up with Quan Chi and them. And it wasn't like it was a directive from the Lin Kuei to stop them. It was from Raiden. So that's why it's just a little weird when people say he's evil. I don't think he's evil. I think he has a code that he follows, just like every other warrior. But anyways, Mythologies takes place 2 years before the original Mortal Kombat story, so Subzero would have been the only hope for Earthrealm at that time. Because like if you really think about it, Liu Kang didn't take part of the tournament yet, and was likely still preparing for his bout with Kung Lao to determine who would represent the Shaolin at that time. So realistically, the only person who could have gone and fought to protect Earthrealm was Subzero. So if Subzero had been in that quest, Earthrealm pretty much would have stood a chance, and an unproven Liu Kang might have just ended up dying. But so I think that, you know, at that time, like he had to be that character. He had to be the person to save Earthrealm, because realistically it was his fault anyways. So at the end of the day, like he should be the one to fix it. So after he defeated Quan Chi and Shinnok, he retrieved the amulet and returns to Raiden. However, when he does, Subzero questions Raiden about his soul being corrupted, as Quan Chi can be seen pretty much telling him the only reason why Raiden sent him here was because his soul was corrupted, because only beings with corrupted souls could be in the Nether Realm.
Was busy.
Don't you realize why Raiden sent you? The Nether Realm is a place for evil beings. You cannot exist here unless you were tainted with evil. You belong here. Join my brothers of the Shadow and worship our Lord Shinnok.
Never, sorcerer!
Then, so it shall be.
So Raiden, and then he implies that yeah, it is. He does more than imply. He says yeah, his soul is corrupted, but then he implies that there's a possibility that could change. His actions, like it's all on his own will. Like there's still time for him to change and redeem himself.
Quan Chi told me that you sent me because my soul was tainted with evil. Is that true?
You are a superb warrior, Subzero. Only you can control your destiny. Not even the gods can alter your chosen path in life.
Was that a yes or a no?
That was a yes. But only you can change it.
So anyways, his actions in mythology is I always thought created a path to him redeeming himself. However, because Sub-Zero killed Hanzo in the game in order to secure the map for the Temple of Elements, it ultimately led to his death at the tournament. I would also like to mention that in MK9, there is a part where Raiden speaks on pretty much Sub-Zero saving the realm from the forces of another realm, where he just genuinely looked like he regretted the fact that Sub-Zero died. Obviously, I feel like any warrior of Earth realm that, you know, did some good, I feel like Raiden would have that feeling towards, and maybe he thought that one day that Sub-Zero could come back to the forces of light, and that's kind of like what happened. But unfortunately, because of what he did to Scorpion in this timeline, that wasn't going to happen. So Scorpion would exact his revenge and kill Bihan, making way for Noob Saibot in the future games.
Despite my efforts, my vision has come to pass. An unfortunate end. He once defended Earthrealm from the Netherrealm armies of Shinnok and Quan Chi.
Scorpion will pay for this.
Sub-Zero's fate is his own doing.
Which pretty much obviously prevented Bihan from redeeming himself because he had been killed. It should be said that Bihan's story changes depending on which timeline you're speaking on. In the original timeline, he was the one who killed Hanzo, which we end up learning from Kwai in Mortal Kombat 4 if you didn't play Mythologies. But in MK9, it's revealed that he wasn't the one who killed Scorpion, or his clan. When he tries to explain to Scorpion that it wasn't him, Quan Chi manipulates Scorpion, showing him images, like pretty much false images of Sub-Zero killing his family. I wouldn't say false images because Quan Chi was Sub-Zero at that point, and but Sub-Zero wasn't the one who did it. He was away, so no longer able to control his anger, he kills Sub-Zero, burning him alive. He later finds out the actual killer in this timeline was Quan Chi.
You spoke of the Lin Kuei's lost honor.
For years, I had thought you had unfairly blamed the Lin Kuei for the deaths of your family and clan. But Sector's cyber-preserved memories revealed the truth.
The Lin Kuei need to abide their agreements, Sector. The Grand Master gave Shinnok his word.
Shinnok's currency is lies, as is yours.
Payment is due. I exterminated the Shirai Ryu as promised.
Hanzo Hasashi lives. He's your Spectre Scorpion.
I created Scorpion from Hasashi's soul after he died. We observed the agreement.
The letter, not the spirit. You are owed nothing.
Harumi. Satoshi.
Had I known of my clan's complicity in the Shirai Ryu's extinction, our history would be different.
I killed your brother because I thought he...
Quan Chi is responsible for Bihan's death.
Sector was wrong. There is a debt to be paid, and Quan Chi will pay it.
Was it Mortal Kombat 9 or Mortal Kombat X? I think it might have been. Oh, it was MKX. MKX. Yeah, MKX is the where we figured it out due to him meeting with Sub-Zero and Sub-Zero showing him the whole sector thing. So that's kind of like what happened there and how he found out that they were the killer. I don't know why for a second it's like slipped my mind. But anyways, it's kind of annoying when you think about this instance where Quan Chi somehow could take the form of Sub-Zero, because it doesn't really make sense when you consider who the character is and his abilities. Like, the only instances we know of where a sorcerer can shapeshift without you can't shapeshift without access to the souls of the we haven't really seen another instance of this happening, because like most of the time, like, I mean, granted, in the gameplay wise, yeah, he could transfer, but like if we're talking about core story details, Shang Tsung has never transformed into I don't think he's ever transformed into anyone that he didn't have their soul for. Yeah, because he had in Mortal Kombat 9, he had Bihan's soul already at that point. Somehow, how did he have his soul? Or maybe it's I don't know how you can explain that, because Shang Tsung has to have the person's soul in order to shapeshift. I thought that was pretty much established, but it could be that, you know, he could shapeshift anyone. Or maybe he had got the soul somehow from Quan Chi. I don't think that happened because, yeah, no. So maybe Shang Tsung can just morph into anybody in that instance. But for real, it's still kind of weird that Quan Chi is still able to do that when he's shown no other aptitude to doing that in any other instance besides Mortal Kombat 9. So, anyways, and like it just Quan Chi never uses this magic again, which leads me to believe that perhaps it's some kind of magic artifact or maybe a spell that lets him become another person if he has some kind of like blood or some kind of sample of the DNA of the warrior. Maybe that's what it is, or it could be some BS plot hole. Who knows? Like, obviously, thinking back on it, maybe Shang Tsung doesn't need their soul, but I feel like in all the other instances, like, it's kind of been hinted at that Shang Tsung needs the soul of the warrior in order to transform into them. But, you know, during gameplay, I guess you could say, you know, if you're taking the gameplay of the fighting game and, you know, instances like MK9, it's a possibility that he doesn't need the soul, but maybe the soul just makes him stronger. I don't know. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but that's not the point of this video anyway. So let's move on. So, in Mortal Kombat 1, they kind of pull the trigger and make Bi-Han fully evil, which, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of disliked that aspect of it because I always felt like Bi-Han was a good anti-hero and, like, you know, he did follow the rules of the clan, but he had his honor and he had his like things he would stand on as Bi-Han. I don't think mixing Noob Saibot's kind of negativity and just basically the evilness of Noob Saibot into Bi-Han, it was a good idea for Bi-Han's character. Granted, you know, they changed his whole look. Basically, they changed Bi-Han, everything about Bi-Han in Mortal Kombat 1 to where he was obsessed with power and he was obsessed with achieving that. So, I don't know, like, personally, I wasn't a big fan of that change. I wanted there to be a point where Bi-Han could live longer and ended up becoming, pretty much just ended up becoming the staple for Subzero. If he would have died in the second game, I would have been like, okay with it. But I feel like they ended up killing Bi-Han way too fast, in my opinion. I just think they were trying to rush to get sales because they wanted to put out Noob Saibot, and, you know, I just think it was too early. But anyways, Bi-Han's always been my favorite Sub-Zero, if I'm being honest. I had hoped maybe in this timeline they would have changed his destiny, but the same thing just keeps happening to Bi-Han. Like, he just can't escape the fact that he has to become Noob Saibot. Like, I always, you know, even before the game came out, I had a feeling this is the way it was gonna go. Like, Noob Saibot has to become a thing because Noob Saibot is one of the most popular characters in Mortal Kombat. So it goes to show that, you know, certain fixed points are not something that can be changed. So I even said this like about almost 2 years ago. I guess about 2 years now, because it was before when we first heard Sub-Zero was gonna be Bi-Han. I kind of like talked about it in a video that I made. I think it was called Face Yourself, the Sub-Zero one. Now this brings us to the new era of Sub-Zero. He seems a bit darker in this timeline, suggesting that Noob Saibot's personality and Bi-Han is somewhat fused together. He seems to only care about the Lin Kuei and not protecting Earthrealm, unlike his younger brother, who was all about, he just wanted to bring peace and bring honor back to the Lin Kuei and to protect Earthrealm from other forces and realms. So in a few of the dialogues, hints at him being evil. I hope this isn't the case and that he can be redeemed at the end and not become Noob Saibot, but it might be something that's unavoidable, a set point in time. So if that it is, then so be it. But I feel like Bi-Han deserves redemption. Just my opinion. Bi-Han is my favorite version of Sub-Zero, and I always felt like he deserves some kind of redemption, especially after playing Mythologies. Mythologies, to me, it just felt like there was going to be an arc where Sub-Zero could redeem himself from what happened in the past that he did, and just get back on the path of, you know, being a good guy, protecting Earthrealm and stuff like that. But yeah, I just kind of feel like that, and the corruption of Sub-Zero, in my opinion, feels forced for the sake of creating the Shirai Ryu. You know what I mean? And I'm a huge Scorpion fan. You guys know, like, I have Scorpion tattooed on my arm, but I really wasn't a fan of how fast and like how weird this kind of came to be, if I'm being honest. Like I said in my last video, what is the point of removing Hanzo if you're gonna give Kwai almost the exact same story as Hanzo outside of the family murder and stuff like that? You know, he created, like, he's the leader of the Shirai Ryu. I don't really understand the point of, you know, switching it outside of just like changing things to change things, where I feel like it wasn't a necessity. But that's besides the point. That's not the point of this video. But anyways, so with the elimination of Bihan and Chaos Reigns, NRS has kind of dug itself into a hole where, for the first time in Mortal Kombat, there's no Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero's never missed a game, and he's been pretty much playable in every Mortal Kombat game from the Mortal Kombat 1995 all the way to MK1. I say this, and I said it in the Hanzo video. To fix the problem, they could pretty much make Frost fill this role, as she's already she's a crime master already, and the only one we know of at this point of Mortal Kombat 1's lifeline so far. So I think that could work, but after having a few days to think on it, I think there are two other possibilities as well outside of just Frost. For instance, option 2, you could have a Bihan or perhaps Bihan's father come from another timeline to take his place. Now, this option, only, of course, will only work if they're still doing the whole timeline thing. If I'm honest, I think after this game, the whole timeline stuff should be done with. Having more than 2 games about timelines, I think, you know, it's a bit excessive and kind of an overkill. So I think maybe it might not be possible. Only time will tell. You never know what NRS, like, you know, if they do that, I'll be cool with it, because Sub-Zero role will be filled, and it'll feel weird without a Mortal Kombat game without Sub-Zero. But I think that Frost could play a good part in filling that role. As long as there's some kind of ice character in it, I think it'll be okay, and it'll give like Sub-Zero mains like a taste of their own medicine when it comes to like Hanzo not being in the game. But anyways, I'm not being petty there. I'm just saying. So, anyways, and then there's the final option, which is more of my thing, and you know, you can feel free to agree or disagree with this. This is just like my own, like, kind of what if scenario. If you want to kind of fix if you want to fix 2 holes, 2 characters at once, like, you can. This is gonna be for Sub-Zero and for Scorpion, just to fix it in this timeline with how they fractured it with the Shiryu splitting off with Lin Kuei and then Sub-Zero dying and not having someone to fill the role. So, anyways, option 3. What if, and mind you, it's particularly hypothetical, like, I don't know if this could be possible, but what if Kwai were to lose his fire abilities during a fight? Or perhaps when he's training Hanzo, maybe somehow the fire abilities transfer over somehow to Hanzo, like almost like a correction of the timeline or something like that. I don't know how exactly it could happen. Like, I'm kind of spitballing when it comes to that. And what if Kwai is forced to go on a journey and he returns to the Lin Kuei temple, where the amulet of the leader of the Grand Master is there. Maybe he uses the amulet similar to how Raiden did when Raiden regained his lightning abilities. It could be possible, because, like, if you think about it, right? If you look back at Deadly Alliance, Frost's ending, the amulet already contains an incredible power, and it completely overwhelms Frost. So
Sub-Zero revealed to Frost that she had been an integral part in the destruction of the Deadly Alliance, and that he was proud to have her as a member of the Lin Kuei clan. But unknown to Sub-Zero, Frost's true intention for joining the Lin Kuei was to become Grandmaster herself. She used her Ice Blast to temporarily immobilize him and rip the Dragon Medallion from his chest. As she held the medallion, she felt power surge through her body. Lacking the strength and discipline required to control the medallion's immense power, she was consumed by her own freezing ability.
In a way, there would be no loopholes if they did this, and he could regain his famous cryomancy this way. He already has a scar on his eye already anyway, so, like, it's not like it would be too crazy to think that something like this could happen. Obviously, it's Mortal Kombat. Anything can happen in Mortal Kombat. So, you know, maybe he would regain his famous cryomancy this way, and it could explain that the power. And they could explain it by saying the powers were always dormant inside of him, but he had nothing to draw it out. And you can use the amulet as almost like a catalyst for the awakening of his powers. I think it would be easy to explain it this way, and this would correct the mistake of killing off Sub-Zero, because you could just have Kwai Liang just take over as Sub-Zero at this point. So and Kuai Liang inside of a Shiryu, being the leader of the Shiryu would be kind of, I think that would be kind of interesting personally, but you know, it is what it is. It's like, even if you do this route, Hanzo would still be he would still be a young man. It would probably be like, it depends. It depends, because if I think that Mortal Kombat 2 needs a time skip, a significant one, like maybe like 5 years, probably like 5 years, I think, just because there are characters that are being set up in the endings, like Hanzo, like Shujinko. I think a minimal 5-year time skip needs to happen, because if you want to introduce Shujinko and Hanzo as characters in the story, or even Fujin's sister, like there needs to be some kind of time skip, because I feel like they may be too young at this point in time. So if you're gonna entertain the idea of putting them into the game, I think, you know, having them be a little bit older going into the second game would be good. And I think 5 years is not that drastic of a difference where you would see too much of a change in the characters, where I just think they would be all seasoned characters at that point, because there's always been time skips in Mortal Kombat. So honestly, I can see there being a route to doing this and having Hanzo and Kuai Liang train similar to how like Takeda was training with Scorpion. So I think doing it this route, it would give Hanzo the ability to become Scorpion once again. Although he wouldn't exactly be the same Scorpion we know, it would be close enough to where people could identify, okay, that's Hanzo. Hanzo would be back to being Scorpion, though he wouldn't have his wife and all that stuff. He would be in the role of Scorpion as we know him. So this would fix, in my opinion, Sub-Zero. There's a Sub-Zero problem for the next game without the resetting of the timeline. I think I like this option the most, if I'm being honest. As it stands now, Bi-Han is going to stay as Noob Saibot. Like, during the Mortal Kombat 1 story, he was always chasing power, and now that he has it, he's not going to want to let that go. So we can assume that Noob Saibot is here to stay, which means Bi-Han is going to be an antagonist going forward. Unless he somehow comes back to Liu Kang asking for help, which I seriously doubt. So get used to seeing him as Noob Saibot again. If for some reason they do nothing with Sub-Zero, for the first time ever in a Mortal Kombat game, we could see a game where Sub-Zero doesn't make it in. I don't know how I feel about that, especially with the way MK1 kind of unfolded. It would be a massive problem, as the Lin Kuei and the Shirai Ryu play a big part in the story. Unless they continue to use Noob as the Grandmaster and just cut Sub-Zero out, which would be a mistake. Noob should lead the Brotherhood of Shadow. Because, like, when you think about it, the Lin Kuei in Chaos Reigns was already dressed in black anyways, which could have been just foreshadowing that maybe he is going to lead the Brotherhood of Shadow again. And then you can go back to look at Mortal Kombat Armageddon's Conquest, where Noob Saibot was attacking the temple and he was turning Lin Kuei warriors into members of the Brotherhood of Shadows. There's still ways to fix NRS's mistake of killing off Sub-Zero. It's just a matter of how they're going to go about doing it. I saw something when I was watching the Mike Hollow stream with Underdog, where Underdog was kind of talking about how he would like to see the molding of 2 timelines, but personally, I don't think that's going to happen. I would love for that to happen. And that was like one of my ideas back in the day about them fusing 2 timelines together, where the new Katana gets the memories of the old Katana and stuff like that. But personally, I don't think that could happen. I don't think it will happen. I think they want to create something different here, and I would love if there was a way for characters to just get back to roles that they were in. Like, personally, I don't know how I feel. I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about Liu Kang being a god. Because, you know, like, in terms of story-wise, Hanzo, Liu Kang, and Kung Lao are my favorite characters. But I've always liked Liu Kang pretty much as the lead good guy in Mortal Kombat. And I just, when it comes to Raiden being the new champion, he just doesn't do it for me. I don't know if it's just the way they presented him in this game. Maybe in the next game it'll be different. But like, Liu Kang has always fit that role of champion of Earthrealm, and it's just weird to see Raiden as that. And the unutilization of Raiden in the story has kind of like left a bad taste in my mouth, with him being able to take that role. And I think that they should somehow make Raiden the thing is too is like, I don't know. I would have to think on that question about how they would go about fixing that. And I think that once I make the video where I talk about what I want to see in the next Mortal Kombat game, I'm going to include details on story, details on game modes and stuff like that, what I would like to see as a fan of the series. But that's an idea for another video. But anyways, what do you guys think about all this? How do you feel about Bi-Han's role in Mortal Kombat going forward? and Sub-Zero possibly missing in this Mortal Kombat game. Let me know in the comments below which one of the options did you guys like best in terms of like what you would like to see in the next Mortal Kombat game for Sub-Zero. Personally, for me, like I said, I like the option 3. I think option 3 is a cool way to kind of fix the Sub-Zero problem while also fixing the Scorpion problem, where you can create Hanzo back to being Scorpion, and I think it would make a lot of fans happy if you do it like that. But at the end of the day, speculation and story, I think that I don't know what they'll do. I feel like they'll just try and continue and just do some weird stuff going forward with the character. I think eventually they'll have Hanzo come into some kind of role in the Shirai Ryu. They probably will keep Scorpion Kuai Liang for now, and maybe something will happen with Kuai and he'll end up having to step down on Scorpion, and then Hanzo will take that role eventually. Who knows what's gonna happen? And it depends. This all depends on how far into the future Mortal Kombat 2 is going to be, because there's going to be at least a 2-year difference. I think in every Mortal Kombat game there's at least a 2 to 5 year difference, I think, in time, so there's some time to pass by. Personally, like I said, I hope it's more than 5 years, because I want to see Shujinko, I want to see Scorpion, Hanzo, I want to see Fujin, who is probably going to be a female in this timeline unless it's something different. But like I said, I hope the next game there's a time skip so that we can see these characters that they're building off in the endings kind of like take form. And I want to see Harumi as a playable character in this game, especially because they made her into a fighter in this game. And you can even have an interaction with like a Hanzo version of Scorpion, and that would be so cool to see. And same thing with, okay, I'm getting too much. That's it for the video. I'm just going off on the tangent now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below about Sub-Zero, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.